What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video. Just kidding. My name is Beretta, aka the Geeky. You may know me. I've been on Warstu's channel a couple times, dropping some scoops and whatnot. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about the brand new Superman behind the scenes trailer and how good this might actually look. Yes, I'm going to sound like I'm James Gunn glazing a little bit, but fun fact, I'm actually a huge Zack Snyder fan. If you guys don't know who I am, once again, I'm at the Geeky. I have a YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff, but that's not what we're here about today. We're here to go for Superman Day and just to see some amazing stuff by James Gunn himself. So let's get right into the video. So as the trailer opens up, we get to see David Cornsweat's Superman walking, as this has a beautiful look at the cape. As the cape is flowing in the wind, just looks great. We also get to see Christopher Reeve, and James Gunn pretty much goes on to say the fact that, like, when he was a kid, Superman was his guy. Superman was the character that made him love comic books and brought him closer. And fun fact, he actually really has a close bond with his father due to Superman, and promised he would always make this film. Next up, we get to see, I believe it's Iceland, but James Gunn does a lot of practical effects for his films, at least for this film, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, look at the scenery around it. Obviously, you see David Cornsweat actually laying in the snow right here. Just a cool little touch. Obviously, then we get that ridiculous Crypto scene where Crypto's jumping up and down on him, and everybody says, oh, it's a dog. That's what dogs should be doing. But still, I think, you know, at that point, a Kryptonian dog should know how to control itself, because it's clearly doing some damage to him. But once again, the scenery is beautiful, the shots are beautiful, and it just looks like they had an amazing time on the scene. We then are brought up to David Cornsweat, Rachel Brosnahan, James Gunn, Pete Safran, and Nicholas Hoult, and so much more. And they go on to talk about how it's been a hectic work week, and we get to see the damage suit. This is the suit that we saw in the original picture where everybody was complaining about it being too tight or whatnot. It looks great right here, and once again, I love that they're not going the MCU route and they're CGIing damage onto suits and whatnot, and we're actually getting practical effects. The fact that they're making more than one suit already makes this better than 3/4 of the Marvel stuff. And this DCU looks like it's on to a great start. Cornsweat seems like he's doing really well. He really does body Superman. Obviously, people are going to compare him to Henry Cavill, but once again, this is a new iteration of Superman that we don't need to compare, at least till the film comes out. Now, this is where it starts really getting good, as we get to see Merced, who is playing Hawkgirl. Her suit looks great. If you guys remember the original suit we saw, it looked really baggy and whatnot. They even did her iconic mace, and most of you probably know her from Justice League Unlimited, the Cartoon Network show. But if you're a big comic book reader, you also know who she is. The only thing that I think that they're doing CGI is the wings. Correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't really seen much of her. She's been really on the down low. But the next person is even better. We get our first look, real first look, at Metamorpho in his human form. You do know that he is the kaiju or the dragon or the dinosaur, whatever you want to call him. But once again, practical. Look how great this looks, the different elements on his body. And one of his powers are, or mainly his powers are, he can manipulate his body and do different compounds, liquids and all those other kind of things, solids and all that. And it looks really good. Even the color dynamic, the purple with the orange lighting is amazing. And he kind of looks like an engineer from the Alien series, but yeah, I don't know. This looks really exciting. I'm hoping they do him justice, and I'm hoping, once again, a little bit less CGI on the characters and more practical effect. Now, hold up. Next, we get to see Brosnahan, and we get to see the Daily Planet. Once again, I'm going to reiterate this over and over and over again, but us constantly getting practical effects is probably what is going to make this movie so great. When you have Superman, you have Fantastic Four, and you have Jurassic World in the same month, obviously, usually the movies with the practical effects do look better, and competing against the $3 billion franchise being Jurassic World, going for a 4th time with Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, we got to push it up. We got to step it up. And this already looks great. Once again, inside, multiple different TVs, chairs, everything. Not really anything different nods right now, but as you can see the globe. And look at, check this out. We get a closer look, and they did the globe. We saw this in the behind the scenes. We also saw this in, I can't remember who did it. Was it Unbox PhD, I think, who actually did pictures of this? But like, chef's kiss, Superman animated series vibes, Superman comic vibes, just looks beautiful. Once again, bravo, James Gunn. Next up, it continues, and once again, we get a better view of Ultraman breaking through some walls. We don't know where this is. Maybe this is the background of the Coliseum and whatnot before he actually goes and fights Cornsweat Superman. But also, he is the one who helps Lex Luthor get into the Fortress of Solitude, so maybe he's breaking through walls or there, or maybe there's a ship inside. Once again, we don't know, but it looks like more of like a stadium. You can tell the outside, you can tell the lighting, and I can't get over how great everything looks right now. I mean, they really, really are touching everything up. Now, if I had any worry, it would be right here. Holt and Corn Sweat are the same size, and I can't get over it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Holt's actually an inch taller than Corn Sweat. Corn Sweat is not a big dude. Yes, we've seen the behind the scenes photos. We've seen him looking so swole in those suits where, you know, he was just in a wife beater essentially, and he was working out at the gym. For somebody who's that swole, they needed to pad this suit a little bit more than I guess, because clearly he doesn't look any bigger than Pitbull right here. But hey, that's just my 2 cents on that. That's probably the only correction I have right now in this behind the scenes, is that Lex Luthor should, I mean, Lex Luthor is a big dude too, but Superman should be a lot bigger. I'm just saying, man's chest should be a lot bigger. Now we are getting into the home stretch, so make sure you stay with me. We have a couple more. Right here, we have Lex Luthor with some bodyguards and some alien looking thing. It looks like they're I don't know, like collecting maybe some kryptonite or something. I mean, you can tell in his hand he's got like a lamp and there's something shiny in there. Who knows? But this is probably one of the most interesting things, because we don't know everything about the film yet. We know a lot with obviously the leaks and rumors, but we don't know everything, and that's the mystery that surrounds us, with James Gunn constantly debunking, even though he debunked my Ultraman being in the film. But hey, guess what? Guess who's right there? Not in this scene, but in the movie. Now, I think one of the coolest nods is the Lex Luthor armor color of the green and purple. It's so iconic from everything, you know, like his power suit. It's purple and green. And I love they did a difference on this, and they gave them helmets, and it seems like they have different like lights or whatnot. Dude, James Gunn is cooking. Like, come on, man, you're cooking. We then get to see Frank Grillo, or Rick Flag Sr., which we know is in this film, which is super cool. Once again, any action film he's in usually is great. Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, The Purge. Love this man. Man is amazing. We then proceed to see what looks like Lex Luthor's power suit. Not sure if this is, but it looks like he's going in somewhere dark. Maybe he's going under the Fortress of Solitude. Maybe he's found some kryptonite. Maybe he's discovered something that no one else has. Maybe this is him making Ultraman. What do you guys think? And I think this is by far the coolest behind the scenes thing we have gotten. Yes, it's very simple. It's just Lex Luthor, aka Nicholas Hoult, and he's in the Fortress of Solitude. How do I know that? Look at the crystals. He even went and made practical crystal effects, and he really made it look like an ice sculpture area. I love it so much. Obviously, we saw the engineer in there as well. You know, if you know who the engineer is, you know she becomes a bad guy towards the end of the film, I believe. But these behind the scenes are amazing. Obviously, once again, like I said, James Gunn is cooking. And that's enough glazing for me today. My name is Beretta, aka the Geeky Cast. Once again, I am so excited to have been able to make this video for you guys regarding Superman Day, behind the scenes, and just for my buddy Warstu actually asked me to come on to this. Make sure you guys give me a follow. I'll leave my stuff in the description down below. Make sure to follow Warstu, give this video a thumbs up, and as always, stick around for more content.